My next guest takes on Motoriste this Thursday at PFL 7. It is Leroy Johnson joining me here on the program for the very first time. Leroy, how are you?
Pretty good today.
Awesome. Well, what does Saturday typically look like for you? Are you taking the day off? Are you in the gym? What's sort of the plan for today?
I am actually in my coach's office right now before Saturday is usually sparring day.
Okay,
I'm not sparring today, just a lot of drilling and focus, getting ready for the fight next week.
absolutely.
But typical Saturday is up early, grab my kid, get her a run in with me as best we can because we got girls on the run getting ready for her. So she likes to run with me while I'm in camp. And then I get to the gym and do a couple rounds, get to a little bit of grappling work in, and then I got to go to work.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What do you do for work?
I'm assistant director of security at one of the largest convention hotels downtown Chicago.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's pretty good. How do you find balancing work with training and everything else, and being a family man too? That sounds like a lot to juggle.
You have, well, you probably people do have an idea, but it can be a stressor, especially when I'm in fight camp. I do the intermittent fasting, so my daughter is just like, "Can we eat yet?" And she just look at me like I'm like, "You can eat. I don't want to eat in front of you right now."
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. What initially got you in combat sports? How did you get involved in the sport?
Actually, after I finished collegiate wrestling, or after I got injured while I was in college, completely blew out my ACL, and then I just didn't want to do anything for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, I made up my mind. I walked into a gym and was like, "Yeah, I need to get back in shape." And they happened to have a fight team, and after a while I was able to pretty much get over on some of their better guys, and they're like, "You're going to be on our fight team." I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess so."
Okay.
And then after that I trained for a year before my first amateur fight, and that led to a 10-1 amateur career, I think, to where I'm at now.
Yeah, and things have certainly worked out well for you. Your last fight was a pretty big win. Brett Martin got that unanimous decision. I know Brett was sort of thought as one of the big prospects out there, and you took him out by unanimous decision. I know you would have liked the finish, but you must have been pretty happy getting that win.
I definitely wanted to finish. There a couple times I caught him with a couple shots that I thought would have a good elbow that I thought was going to be the end of it, and just one little thing here, and I just wanted to try and pour it on, but he's a big guy, so when I was on top of him, I felt like I was teeter-tottering, so I didn't want to give up good position. So
Right. No, no, I hear you on that. And then now you're fighting here for PFL. Not that far in between fights. It's a pretty short notice matchup. When did you find out about this fight? Because it just kind of came out of nowhere.
literally, I came back from Michigan on Saturday, and this fight was told to me on Monday.
Okay. So you're just like, hey, I got to run with it. Obviously, PFL doing a lot of big things these days. Is it just like a one fight deal, or how is your contract structured with PFL?
Right now, it's only one fight, and I know that the in the back of my mind, or actually in the back of everybody else's mind, I kind of leave it out there until it happens. But that heavyweight tournament,
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sure you're keeping an eye on that. Let's talk about your opponent, Mo Reese, 5-0 record, undefeated. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I feel that he's a talented wrestler. A little bit one dimensional. It seems like in his fights. Um, I think that my style and skill set matches up pretty well. Uh, I know that the UFC, or he was on the Ultimate Fighter to get in the house and lost. So I expect I don't want to say absolutely difficult, but just a formidable opponent in him. I'm not sure about his camp, but I know that his wrestling background is very solid. So I expect him to have good cardio, good hips, good conditioning, great strength, and patience.
And he is 5-0, but he did actually lose on the Ultimate Fighter to Khalil Rountree, and that's the last time we've actually seen him fight, and that was way back in January of 2016. Do you feel like the layoff will affect him in this fight because you've been a lot more active?
You never know how layoffs affect certain people. Some people come off a layoff and say they get ring rust. Others come off the layoff and they've just changed every facet of their game. So I mean, this is a fight game. You don't know. Like he could come out totally like and have improved his striking and boxing. You never know what could happen. But then again, you always know when somebody gets a little bit tired, they resort to what they know best.
Yeah, no, that's true. Where are you training right now, and who are some of your main training partners?
I'm training out in Top Notch in Villa Park, outside about 10 miles outside downtown Chicago. My trainer is Mac Ramos. Uh, Great gym, great family aspect. It was just very interesting that coming from Michigan, where I was at Michigan top team, and not a lot of big guys there, and I jumped to here, where also not a lot of big guys. But here, the guys are very in your face, very grindy, but on your feet, not quite on the ground. They definitely don't shy away. They've got a guy here, Mike Santiago, fights at 145, was in the UFC, and he likes to stand toe to toe, even with me. Does not back down at all. So it definitely, what may lack in maybe size, I definitely get in these guys that are always coming forward and want a piece of you every day.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I believe it's going to be Mike Santiago and Mac Ramos.
Excellent. And how do you see this fight playing out on Thursday?
Uh, right now, I'm picturing that I throw one down the center, it shocks him on top of him, and finish right now. That's what's been in my head. That's what I've been envisioning happening. That's what I don't want to say hope, but that's what I'm preparing for.
And like we talked about there, obviously one fight deal, so you're basically a free agent after this. I imagine the main thing is to get paid and to keep active, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Absolutely. You want to keep active. That's why I even strike while the iron is hot. One fight, then the next. If it leads to another, it leads to another. If leads me down another road, then it leads me down another road. We'll see.
Chicago's a big sports town. Are you a sports fan outside of MMA? Is there anything you like watching as far as downtime and all that?
Oh, absolutely. You see, I have my Detroit Tigers hat on that everybody looks at me funny walking around in Chicago area because they're all Cubs crazy here, and of course there's always the Sox. And like we moved here this last year, and I looked at my daughter and she was like, "What's the deal with the Cubs?" And I looked at her. I was like, "If you're gonna support a local team, it's gonna be the White Sox." She's like, "But the White Sox play the Tigers." I go, "Every day except that."
That's good parenting right there. Got to stay true to your allegiance. I like that for sure. And this is going to be a great fight. It's coming up here this Thursday. It is PFL 7. Leroy, it was great getting a chance to talk to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
I like thing with sponsors, obviously. Quick Tutor app just now releasing. Anybody looking for assistance, whether you're in college, high school, it's definitely an app you can get on. It's like very up and coming. One of my former wrestlers is launching that, or at least has launched. Also, got to thank my friend Anthony Fawaz, serious realtor in the area of Michigan, Detroit area. If you're looking for a house, reach out to him. And also, like, I got to think like Fat Boy Fight Gear, dealing all my like gear, getting me prepped and ready, making sure my hands stay safe, don't hurt anything. And then, oh man, I always lose track.
No worries.
I always lose track with my sponsors, but definitely all I can do is thank my supporters, friends, and family, all those. I can't forget like my roots where I came from, a Michigan top team family as well, always in my corner, always supportive. Give a great shout out to Cody Stamen, who's got his UFC fight here coming up in Texas. So great supporter of that, and also my teammate Saeed, who will also be fighting on this card. So really excited to see him fight and see what he can do because he's, I believe, like one fight after me. I can't wait to see that go down.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.